Imagine a love so all-consuming, so utterly possessive, that the very thought of sharing it is an unbearable torment. What happens when that fervent passion, fueled by years of devotion and secret longing, is confronted by the brutal reality of another, and the heart that couldn't let go decides that if she couldn't have him, no one could? In this episode, we delve into the chilling narrative of Ethan Thames, Olivia Hayes, and Rita Reed, a story where intense desire transformed into a deadly obsession, where a devastating discovery ignited a furious rage, and where a broken heart led to an unthinkable act of double violence. This is a tale that will leave you questioning the boundaries of obsession, the true cost of lies, and how a love turned utterly sour can lead to ultimate devastation. Get ready, because this story reveals how she couldn't bear to see him with another, so she took them both out. In the vibrant, bustling art scene of Los Angeles, California, Ethan Thames was a man who commanded attention. A charismatic and successful art dealer, he was known for his sharp eye, magnetic personality, and boundless charm. His presence at any event was keenly felt, and he had a particular way of making those around him feel uniquely seen and understood. Among those most captivated by Ethan was Olivia Hayes, a talented and passionate painter whose work often graced Ethan's gallery. Their connection had blossomed rapidly, fueled by shared artistic sensibilities, late-night discussions, and a profound, almost telepathic, understanding of each other's creative souls. Their affair began subtly, with shared ideals and hushed conversations, quickly spiraling into a deeply physical and intensely emotional bond. Olivia believed Ethan was her soulmate, her muse, promising her a future he swore he would carve out for them, despite the inconvenient truth that Ethan was a married man. Olivia, caught between her morals and her overwhelming love, found herself hopelessly entangled, enjoying the thrill of this new, forbidden passion. Ethan promised Olivia he would leave his wife, that their love was meant to be a destiny he was finally ready to pursue. This was the carefully constructed world, a hidden affair with Olivia, while Ethan maintained a public marriage. Two women, one aware of his marital status and clinging to promises, the other utterly devoted and blindly trusting. Olivia, deeply in love, believed she was his one and only, the passionate secret who truly held his heart. The seamless rhythm of Ethan and Olivia's secret life began to show discordant notes. Subtle at first, then growing more insistent, the whispers of unease began to penetrate Olivia's artistic and deeply intuitive world. 4 months, she had patiently waited for Ethan to leave his wife. Now, a new anxiety began to gnaw at her as his promises seemed to stretch endlessly into the future. Olivia, with her sharp attention to detail and intimate knowledge of her lover, started noticing the shifts in his behavior. Ethan, usually so attentive during their clandestine moments, became increasingly distracted and distant. Their secret rendezvous became less frequent, often canceled last minute with vague excuses. His phone, once used exclusively for their intimate messages, now seemed perpetually in his hand, often face down, its screen quickly blacked out if she approached. He'd take calls in hushed tones, stepping out to the balcony of his gallery office, his back turned, his voice barely audible. If Olivia questioned him about when he would finally leave his wife, he'd offer irritable, dismissive answers, or claim timing was not yet right. Olivia detected the faint scent of a new, distinctly sweet perfume on his clothes, a fragrance that wasn't hers. She noticed an uncharacteristic fastidiousness about his appearance before leaving for what he claimed were late-night client dinners, and a distant, almost distracted look in his eyes even when they were together. The once easy flow of their intimate conversations became strained, punctuated by awkward silences and a growing emotional distance. The unwavering certainty of her position, as Ethan's true love, began to waver under the weight of these accumulating evasions and the blatant threat of a new rival. A cold knot of dread began to tighten in Olivia's stomach, casting a long, ominous shadow over her illicit love. She felt a desperate urgency for him to make a choice before this new one became a permanent fixture. The flimsy facade of Ethan's new secret life finally shattered, exposing a brutal reality that ripped Olivia Hayes' world apart. Driven by a gnawing suspicion that refused to be silenced, and fueled by sleepless nights filled with doubt, Olivia decided to confirm her fears, pushed by a desperate need for the truth, no matter how painful. One quiet Tuesday evening, Ethan claimed he was attending a private collector's viewing out of town. Olivia, unable to shake a terrible premonition, decided to surprise him, driving to the city he mentioned. She arrived at a bustling, exclusive gallery opening. And then she saw him. Ethan, radiant and charming, his arm around a stunning, younger woman, Rita Reed, a rising star in the contemporary art world. They were laughing, holding hands, and sharing intimate glances that confirmed Olivia's worst fears. Olivia discreetly followed them. She watched as they left the gallery, got into Ethan's car, and drove to a secluded, high-end restaurant. Through the window, she witnessed them sharing a romantic dinner, tender touches, and passionate kisses. It was horrifyingly clear. The devastating reality struck her with the force of a tidal wave. Her beloved Ethan, the man who had been her secret, was not only cheating on his wife, but was now cheating on Olivia as well, with a younger rival artist. He was planning to abandon Olivia, just as he planned to abandon his wife. He had exploited her love, her loyalty, her years of waiting, all for a fresh, new conquest. The betrayal was not just personal, it was a profound violation of their illicit bond, her desperate hope, and the very foundation of her future. Her world, her trust, her identity as his chosen mistress, lay shattered at her feet, incinerated by the undeniable truth of his serial deceit and his ultimate choice to replace her. She couldn't bear to see him with another. Now, she would make sure she didn't have to. The devastating discovery of Ethan's profound betrayal, not just of his wife, but of Olivia herself, and his blatant replacement of her with Rita, ignited an uncontrollable inferno within Olivia. The passionate, long-suffering mistress vanished, replaced by a woman consumed by a primal, unbridled rage and an agonizing sense of profound betrayal and replacement. She couldn't contain it. She had to confront them, to demand answers from the man who had utterly destroyed her life and the woman who had dared to take her place. Olivia ambushed Ethan and Rita as they left the restaurant, walking hand in hand down a quiet side street. Her face was pale, her eyes red-rimmed, but hardened with a terrifying resolve. Olivia, voice low, trembling with suppressed fury. So, private viewing, was it Ethan? Or was that just code for your romantic dinner with this new artist? She gestured to Rita, then to Ethan. Don't you dare deny it. I followed you. You vile hypocrite. You cheated on your wife with me, and now you're cheating on me with her. Ethan and Rita's faces went ashen. They scrambled, attempting to deny, to deflect, to beg for understanding, but Olivia's fury was a palpable force. Ethan, Olivia, please, I'm so sorry, it's a mistake. She means nothing. Rita, voice trembling, I don't know what you're talking about. We're just colleagues. Olivia, cutting them off, her voice rising to a terrifying shriek, mistake. You're planning a future with her. You promised me a future. I waited years. I gave you everything. And now you're discarding me for a new model. You bastard. Her gaze fixed on Rita. And you knew he was involved. You let him deceive me. You're just as guilty. His attempts to gaslight or rationalize only fueled her inferno. He tried to grab Olivia, to calm her, to get her out of the public eye before she ruined his carefully constructed life. Ethan, Olivia, stop. You're being hysterical. Get away from us. You'll ruin everything. I'm sorry, but it's over. I'm done with both of you. Those words, hysterical, ruin everything, done with both of you, were the last straw. They confirmed his complete dismissal of their illicit bond, his utter contempt for her, and the public shame he was willing to inflict. Her emotional breakdown was not just sorrow, it was an explosive, terrifying eruption of agony, a complete shattering of her identity. The man she had loved, her long-held secret, was not only rejecting her utterly but was doing so with a cold finality that obliterated her very existence. And now, a rival stood beside him. In that moment, the love she felt for him curdled into an overwhelming, destructive rage. She couldn't bear to see him with another, so she would take them both out. The confrontation on the quiet Los Angeles street escalated quickly, fueled by Olivia's profound sense of betrayal and Ethan's chilling declaration of abandonment, compounded by the presence of his new lover. Her rage, now singularly focused on both the deceiver and the usurper, became uncontrollable. Ethan's desperate attempts to intervene, to protect Rita, were futile, merely delaying the inevitable. In the grip of blinding, all-consuming fury, Olivia's eyes darted around the secluded area. Her hand landed on a heavy, metal tire iron she kept in her car for roadside emergencies, a practical tool, but in that moment of ultimate despair and uncontrollable rage, it transformed into an instrument of unimaginable violence. It was chaotic, unplanned, a blur of motion. As Ethan tried to shield Rita, pushing her behind him, Olivia lunged. It was not a premeditated act, but a sudden, explosive release of raw, untamed emotion. Her grip on the tire iron was tight, fueled by the visceral need to make him feel a fraction of the agony he had inflicted upon her, to make him acknowledge the utter destruction he had wrought in her life, and the profound disrespect he had shown. There was a desperate struggle, a guttural cry from Ethan, and then a sickening thud as he collapsed. Her fury, unchecked, then turned to Rita. Another blur of motion, another violent impact. The heavy tire iron found its mark, again and again, a horrifying testament to the uncontrolled fury that consumed her. The air seemed to freeze, the distant sounds of the city fading into an eerie silence. Olivia stood over their motionless bodies, panting, her eyes wide with a mixture of terror and a terrifying, fleeting satisfaction. The adrenaline slowly drained, replaced by a cold, horrifying clarity. The man who betrayed her, and the woman who replaced her, now lay dead at her feet. The heat of passion had incinerated everything, leaving behind only the ashes of a life, and the chilling reality of what unbridled rage could truly unleash. She couldn't bear to see him with another, so she took them both out. Hours later, in the unforgiving glare of the interrogation room lights, Olivia sat, a shell of her former self. Detective Green, seasoned and calm, observed her carefully, noting her profound distress. Detective Green: "Olivia, we know what happened to Ethan Thames and Rita Reed on the street. Can you tell us, in your own words, what led to their deaths?" Olivia's voice was a barely audible whisper, punctuated by heart-wrenching sobs. "Olivia, he cheated. He lied. He destroyed everything. Our secret love, my life, his ministry." Her voice hitched, a fresh wave of tears rolling down her cheeks. "He let me believe that we were forever, that he loved me, and all along he had her, Rita, the new one. He chose her. He chose her over me, over our vows, over everything we built. And he was going to abandon me, Detective Green. And you attacked them both when you confronted them." Olivia, shaking her head vigorously, then clutching her hands, rocking slightly. "I didn't mean to. I swear. It was just the pain, the humiliation, the betrayal, the replacement. It was too much. He was leaving me for her. He was just going to walk away after all of it. He destroyed everything. My dignity, my hope, everything." Her voice rose, desperate. "I couldn't bear to see him with another, Detective. He said it was over. He said I was hysterical. I just wanted them to feel the pain he inflicted on me. I couldn't control it. I snapped. So I took them both out." Her confession was raw, unvarnished. She detailed the depth of her belief in their illicit bond, the agony of discovering his deceit and his new affair, and the sudden, overwhelming fury that had consumed her in that moment of ultimate abandonment and replacement. There was no denial of the act, only a desperate, almost childlike plea for understanding, a tragic explanation of a love so twisted and a betrayal so profound it had propelled her to violence. Olivia Hayes' trial sent shockwaves through Los Angeles and across the nation, dominating headlines and sparking intense public debate. The courtroom became a poignant battleground of conflicting emotions, grappling with the complexities of forbidden love, profound heartbreak, and tragic double violence. On one side, a powerful wave of sympathy swelled for Olivia. Her defense painted a heart-wrenching picture of a deeply devoted woman whose love was systematically exploited and shattered by a manipulative partner's prolonged deceit and his ultimate decision to abandon her for a newer mistress. They highlighted the profound psychological and emotional distress she endured, arguing that her actions were the tragic consequence of extreme emotional doors, a complete mental breakdown brought on by an unimaginable betrayal of trust and broken promises. Many saw her not as a cold-blooded killer, but as a victim, pushed to the very brink by a man who had desecrated his vows and destroyed her life. However, an equally vocal chorus of condemnation arose. For them, Olivia was unequivocally a double murderer, regardless of the circumstances. They argued that no betrayal, however profound, justified taking two lives, especially in such a brutal manner. They pointed to the severity of the act and the definitive nature of her violent outburst. The prosecution underscored her rage, arguing that her fury, while perhaps understandable, did not absolve her of responsibility for the ultimate crime. The public wrestled with the inherent contradiction. A loving artist committing such an act, fueled by a love and future shattered by deceit. The jury, caught between the crushing weight of Olivia's profound suffering and the undeniable horror of two lives violently taken, faced an emotionally charged and profoundly difficult decision. The case of Olivia Hayes became a haunting reminder of the treacherous line between love, loyalty, and betrayal, and how deeply a broken heart, faced with ultimate humiliation and replacement, can wound, sometimes with fatal consequences, ensuring that she couldn't bear to see him with another, so she took them both out. Olivia's story leaves us with a haunting question. Can love, when utterly corrupted by deceit and the ultimate betrayal of abandonment for another, really drive someone to kill not one but two people? Was her act a spontaneous explosion of passion, or the inevitable outcome of a love so shattered it led to ultimate devastation because she couldn't bear to see him with another, so she took them both out? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. This tragic tale is just one example of the raw passion that turns into real crime. If you're captivated by these stories of human emotion pushed to its deadliest limits, then hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell for more shocking true crime cases from heartstrings and handcuffs. You won't want to miss our next deep dive into the dark side of devotion.